All right, another edition of Life Without Sports. Aren't you lucky? As we come to you today on day number 362 of the quarantine.
Yeah, this is like Nightline, right? It started out as just like a Friday night show for an hour, and now it's gone like daily.
It has gone daily. We are held hostage by our own boredom, and we're looking for a negotiator in Mecklenburg County.
Yeah, these are hostage-like videos, aren't they?
Well, you know, Argo won an Academy Award, Mike, for a reason.
That's
right. Based on a hostage.
That's right. That's right.
Hostage movie.
That's right.
I think our aim is to entertain and to keep you preoccupied because God knows we need it. Yeah. I did get a great Netflix suggestion moments ago.
Oh,
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I know you're always looking for these, Mike.
Yep.
FAUDA, F-A-U-D-A.
All right.
About an Israeli soldier who goes back for a little revenge, I think.
Oh.
So that's from the great Judge Robert Barton of the retired Massachusetts Superior Court judge.
Right. That kind of reminds me of the Curb Your Enthusiasm Fatwa episode.
Well, that's what I thought of. That was a top 10.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of like a spite video podcast, too.
Yes. The best is when Larry's getting it done with a member of the other sex.
Yeah.
And she was voicing her opposition. Let's just put it that way. But I love how I have to skate around this. This is the internet, right? I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Give me the green light.
Yeah.
Just give me the green light, Jerry.
We just might have to change our settings on the YouTube, but yeah, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Definitely not safe for kids.
Watching this, I apologize.
No, he's not watching.
No, but I think, Mike, it's one of those days where you just say, I think this day is significant, but unfortunately for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
April 15th,
right.
2013, 7 years ago, the Boston Marathon bombing. And it's one of those days where you think, my God, it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
And how time has flown by.
Right.
And what just a bizarre, tragic day.
Even though, I've been out of Boston for, 25 years now. God, it's been that long, yeah. Almost 25 years. But, I still kind of, feel like I'm still in New Englander at heart, right?
You're one of us, Mike.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, I'm just a kid from Arlington.
You take the Arlington out of the kid.
Yeah, I'm a kid from Arlington. But the marathon so resonated with me. I still remember where I was when I got the news. And you're going to laugh about this, but I was at a charity golf tournament for Queen's University here in Charlotte, and
shameless,
playing with a couple of my friends.
Shameless.
And
playing for the swag.
That's right. And then I emceed the thing afterwards too, the award ceremony. But I just remember, I forget what hole it was, but it was Firethorn Golf Club, and I looked down on my cell phone just to check in, and it was just going nuts with the notifications. Yeah. And then saw that there was the bombing, and then I was kind of hooked on it, just watching the coverage on the the cable news channels, but we're kind of carrying it a lot, and so I really kind of versed myself with it. And growing up in Arlington. I know exactly where the officer was shot at MIT. I remember, parts of Watertown where the chase happened. That's very familiar territory for me. And then I fortunately I didn't know anybody that was immediately impacted by that. But it was, I think, growing up in Boston and going to the marathon. I covered the marathon for a couple years when I was at WHDH and WEEI. It felt like an invasion of our sanctity. Because the marathon was just such a revered event, and it's such a peaceful and, you never heard of trouble at the marathon, right? The craziest thing before that happened at the marathon was Rosie Ruiz.
Yeah, that was just a silly stunt by an idiot.
Yeah.
Invading the sanctity is a good way to put it. I'm not a huge fan of marathon. I think it's great that everybody who does it, and God love them for doing it. And it's an amazing achievement. My sister's run it a few times. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. I can't imagine that intrinsic feeling of finishing 26.2.
Yeah.
But that day was just it just felt so surreal. I remember pulling in my house and I was listening to EEI, and must have been right after the Red Sox game, and Michael Hawley had just announced that there's been a disturbance at the marathon, and they think it might be a bomb. And I said, "Are you bleeping kidding me?"
Yeah.
And just running in the house like you, probably after your golf round, watching all the coverage, and then being quarantined.
Yeah.
So that was our first dose of that in Boston, in New England.
Right. Shelter-in-place order.
Exactly. And abandoned streets by Kenmore Square.
I know.
Abandoned.
Yeah.
Newbury Street abandoned. Boylston Street abandoned. Every ounce of real estate around Boston abandoned. It was a ghost town.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember talking to my dad, because he was living in Arlington at the time, and it just there's no words for it, right? I mean that's preying on civilians and people that have no animosity towards you. I mean that was such a cowardly thing to do. And the people that died in that, they didn't need, that wasn't, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. But they shouldn't, but that should never have been the case.
No, it was horrifying. Think about the families the young family that lost a son. I mean, you losing anybody, losing a limb, losing hearing, losing eyesight, losing mental capacities.
Right. Or even just the people that were in the immediate vicinity and maybe weren't hurt, but were traumatized afterwards.
Trauma. The trauma toll was so enormous.
Yeah.
The collateral damage was so enormous. Yeah. And it was just, you don't mean to bring it down on this day, but it was one of the things that, popped on Twitter this morning, and I said, oh, holy cow, it has been 7 years.
Right. But, that also has that was one of the starting points that has kind of fundamentally changed how you go to sporting events now.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, a lot of... And, it's kind of the statement of our times. It's like was it Richard Reed was the shoe bomber? I mean, we had already gone to a place where you were getting pretty well screened getting on an airplane. But after that, obviously 9/11 first, but, every step of the way since then, it's been more and more... you have to be more and more secure and going through checkpoints and getting looked at, and I mean, I remember a time, and it wasn't that long ago, but pre 9/11, where you could just roll up to an airport 10 minutes before your flight, if someone dropped you off, and you make your flight no problem. Now it's that's been fundamentally changed, and now
we used to fly that Eastern Airlines shuttle at New York City. You were notorious for that. You go down for a weekend in New York, and Mikey's at the terminal 10 minutes before, gets on the plane.
Yeah. But it's even. I mean, and this is not. This is not woe is me. But it's affected team travel a little bit. I mean, you used to be able to just roll right up to the plane. Now you got to get checked either before you get on the bus or.
The agony.
No, I mean it's not. That's not the point's not that. But it's just. It's how fundamentally everything has changed.
Everything's disrupted, and it will be even more so now.
Yeah.
With what we're dealing with, of course, and every day we have another report.
Well, that's the thing, John. Like, can you imagine now fans? You would think potentially this is on the table, right? You might have to be temperature checked before you can get into an arena or a stadium.
Yeah, no, I think I have read where some league was considering that if they wanted to have fans. Golf now is supposedly coming back June 11th in Dallas without fans. They're going to try that. I'm sure that will be one of the highest-rated golf tournaments ever, just because people are thirsting for any form of competition on TV.
Right.
And that will be an intriguing watch from the perspective of it's not going to be that big of a difference, I don't think, for the golfers. I think it makes much more of a difference for a football player or a basketball player or a hockey player, baseball probably to some extent, but more so those three action sports.
Right.
That's when I think it will be a bizarre. College football, we talked about, it's such a fan-driven sport.
Right.
Without fans in the stands, forget it. And speaking of college, Mike, the reports today that there's going to be a lot of cuts, supposedly.
Yeah.
Pete Thamel had a good story on Yahoo. Add him to our guest list. Pete Thamel is another guy we got to track down. But he had a good story about. It's definitely in the works about non-revenue sports getting cut. University of Cincinnati cut men's soccer yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
And that was kind of the first domino. So, you work for a school in Winthrop that has that type of structure. So they might be considering it as we speak.
But you know what? With a school like Winthrop and some of the Big East schools, might be okay in the sense that they don't have football. So Winthrop doesn't have football, and I think the schools that have football, I think that'll be the bigger domino first. However, if you have a non-football school that maybe is struggling financially, absolutely, that could be an issue. Like, maybe cutting down. I mean, I'd hate to see baseball. Somebody mentioned, I saw the same thing you saw, and then someone else had a list of potential men's sports that would be on the chopping block. Soccer, obviously, tennis, and baseball. Now, we've seen baseball's been cut from a couple of, and it makes more sense to cut it in New England because it's tough to play baseball in February. But
yes,
I don't know. As somebody that again, I wasn't, I wasn't a high level sports person, student athlete in college, but I did was football at Merrimack, low level, like Division III club. But that opportunity to do that so enhanced my experience and helped me. Playing that sport was invaluable. I mean, I still have memories that still carry me to this day, and everybody has that. And college, you go for the degree, right? I mean, you go to hopefully find what your life's purpose is going to be. But some people don't.
Or you go for the girls too.
Or you go for the girls, right? Or the partying, right? But and you played organized team sports meet. I mean,
I was adequate.
Yeah, you were adequate. Yeah. That's what we learned yesterday. You were adequate.
I was adequate.
I might have been sub-adequate, but anyway. But it's obviously the lessons you learn about setting goals and overcoming obstacles, how to deal with when things don't go your way. But it's also the silly things like like the bus trip. Some of the things I remember more than the games themselves were like the bus rides.
Yeah, it's the camaraderie aspect. It's the being part of a team, learning how to deal with others, learning how to deal in that framework of society.
Right. Well, and it toughens you up too.
The kids that play.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be a huge blow.
Right.
But I think financially now the model's all getting eviscerated with what we're dealing with in this current environment.
Yeah.
That schools are going to have to address it on some levels.
Right.
And whether it's baseball, men's lacrosse, rugby, badminton, who knows?
Yeah.
Volleyball, those types of sports, they're all going to be in danger, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a shame, but it might have to be the new reality. And I think that the big misnomer, I think a lot of people have, John, is that after you, and I'm kind of guesstimating the number, it could be plus or minus 10 or 15 schools, but when you get down the list of even in Power 5 schools, if you ranked schools that were all in Division I, football. I think most people realize football was like 117 Division I FBS schools. Probably another.
Yeah, I think it's 123 now.
123, yeah, and then maybe another 100 or so plus, roughly.
Basketball's 353.
Yeah, it's 353, and there's even 3 or 4 more that are going to be transitioning to Division I. So, but if you take the basketball model of the 353, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 are in the black.
I'd say
that's probably generous, right? I mean, it's probably more like top 40,
maybe top 25.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level where now, I mean, like not everybody's like has Harvard's athletic endowment, right? I mean,
right.
And
except Merrimack.
Except Merrimack, yeah. But even but you even look at like. What again? You don't feel bad. These schools should have some cushion, but Texas and Oklahoma, Florida, schools like that. I mean, their athletic department basically not only funds the whole athletic department, but some of that money is probably siphoned off and helps the general student population.
Texas, especially, that's a good example. You read about them often about how their football program makes all the money, and then they spread that out. Yeah. All these schools with big television contract deals, you're involved with Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, Pac-12 is lower because their network isn't as strong, but they're all making enormous sums at the end of the season. They get checks for $35, $40, $50 million. Yeah. Every school, and it's a class revenue sharing deal. So Wake Forest makes the same as Clemson. Right. BC makes the same as Florida State. They're all getting the same amount of money. It's just a matter of how the schools diversify when they get that check, because 99.9% go to the athletic department or the football program, or does it go to the English department, or the science department, or how do presidents diversify the funds?
Right. Yeah. And that's all part of the student experience too. I mean, so for Merrimack, we actually had a decent, it was kind of like a high school football crowd in Massachusetts. I mean, it was kind of, we'd have like 300 or 400 people at our games. But at Merrimack, I mean, it was a little bit like BC in the sense of, we didn't draw as well hockey-wise. But, I mean, my first 2 years when we were really good, the place was packed.
Yeah, I remember those years. I saw them play Northeastern, Jim Vesey and Jim Hermack and Harry Rosenblatt.
Right, and that team beat Northeastern in the first round of the NCAA tournament and then moved on to... I forget the exact circumstances against Lake Superior State. It was, I think that was like a total goal deal.
Might have been.
Yeah, but anyway,
was Blaine Locker on that Lake Superior State team?
He was. In fact, I remember talking to him. Yeah, when he was with the Bruins, talked to him about that.
I'm dropping some serious hockey knowledge.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Blaine Locker was on that team. So
yeah, I might drop a Jim Carey on you here pretty soon. Nice. Proud of Weymouth, Mass.
Yeah,
Washington Capitals goalie.
That's right.
Mike, we of course something we always do digress on this mess of a show, but you have excellent product placement.
Oh, with the Moxie?
Well, Moxie and the Merrimack College shirt.
Oh yeah.
Support that proudly. There you go. And I'm shameless too with...
You got your ESPN. Yeah, hold on a minute. I got to get the locator off so people can see that.
The four-letter network.
Yeah, there you go.
We got to give you nothing.
You got to raise that a little meat.
They're a little shy on publicity, so right here.
I still can't see it.
Still can't see it? Trust me, folks. It says ESPN. There, trust me. I'm pointing to my heart. ESPN.
We got to work on that.
So well in rehearsal.
It did work so well. We got to work on that.
Pacheco, the backlighting, you had the gamma lighting on earlier.
I know. I had to. Yeah, you were really dark because of the light behind you. We got to work on that. We need a professional camera crew.
Yes, we do. We definitely need to solicit that. And anybody on at Meets Tweets or at Mike Pacheco 81.
That's right.
Let us know if you have any camera experience. but I think it's going to be a transition now to a period of pre-pandemic, post-pandemic,
right?
And the new reality.
Right.
Here's your new normal. It's going to be an overused term, but we're all the uncharted waters continue. And Trump today is having a conference call with Mark Cuban, Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, talking about reopening the country.
Yeah.
And hopefully Mark Cuban and Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft will say, "Are you crazy, Mr. President?
Right.
You cannot reopen our country. No one wants to play sports more than we do right now. We're losing money every day. But we can't do it until there's herd immunity or there's a vaccine."
Right. Right. And testing goes along with that too. I mean, I think testing. I think if they had the right testing, and you quarantine the players, I don't know. To me, it's risky in the sense that I understand that you can make an argument that as long as if you can guarantee the players will be safe, that there's an entertainment value to keep the masses entertained, if you will, right? Kind of like the Roman Colosseum mentality of trying to keep the people, give them something to do. And we're all kind of thirsting for that. But it should not come to my, and at the expense of a player contracting COVID-19. And we're still not sure about the boomerang, right? If it boomerangs back.
Yeah, that's I think really a huge concern is, okay, you might be out of the woods in July and August,
right?
But then is it coming back in September and October?
But here's the thing, John, right? I still feel like, even though we've got a bunch of millions of tests out there now, or at least over 1 million tests, but it's not a good look if you're siphoning off tests on healthy people every day to play sports. What I mean? So it's like, so I think that's why, to me,
people are in the worst shape first.
Right. I mean, I think the testing needs to get ramped up more so. And then, if you feel like, there's, a high percentage that these guys aren't going to get contracted again or contracted for the first time, maybe it. But think about this, right? I mean, if you're an NBA player, would you be hesitant getting on a court with Rudy Gobert, or Donovan Mitchell? I mean, granted, they've gotten through it, but
Donovan Mitchell claimed that Rudy Gobert used to kiss him on the lips.
Yeah.
And that was, not that you and I have done that once or twice. But,
it was late at night. We were in college.
We're only human. Celebratory smooch. Never hurt anybody. But Donovan Mitchell now says he will never ever play on the same team with Rudy Gobert, so that's another issue. But
right.
I don't know how I would feel. I really don't. I think I'd want to know. Yes, if someone was a carrier, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around that. I don't want, unless there's a vaccine that guards against me getting sick.
Right.
Everybody has to be selfish in that regard.
Right.
This is heartbreaking stories every day.
Yeah.
From in New York, they seem to have flattened the curve a little bit, but then there's a story of Anthony Fauci, a New York Post photographer, at 48 years old, who died.
Yeah.
He did have a pre-existing condition.
Right.
He did have type 1 diabetes, but just a heartbreaking story about him dealing with it, and dying alone, and a couple kids, and universally loved by everybody. You know how tough the New York media
I know,
can be
in New York, right, exactly.
Cliquey, right? Very cliquey. And they're everybody's has their own agenda. Right. This guy, I've read almost every salute to him.
Yeah.
And Yes Network, I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it on Twitter. Did a great retrospective on him, on his career. How often do you see that, Mike, about a photographer?
But something, it's interesting, and maybe this is just, it's been my experience, but I've been around a bunch of several photographers, and they kind of have that same thread where they're universally liked and they're always positive. It seems like that's one position or one job, if you will, where I don't know, all the other crazy stuff that can be a distraction in our field and not on camera.
It's a little odd that maybe because there's a couple guys in Boston like Jim Davis from the Globe, who's been there a long time. Great guy, great photographer. Everybody loves him. Probably similar.
Yeah.
But this guy seemed to be like Forrest Gump.
Right.
He was the everyman who took pictures on the streets and gave it to people, random people.
Yeah.
He snapped them in various poses and sent them the photos.
Yeah.
So it's just those stories that multiply in this time that you're thinking, all right, Donald Trump wants to reopen the country because it's all economic driven.
Right.
That's why he wants to reopen the country. Right. And how about everybody that's lost a loved one?
Yeah.
Do they want the country to be reopened?
Right.
That's the problem with this thing.
Well, I think maybe the silver lining in this is maybe we regain a little bit of humanity that we've lost. I guess there's I forget where he's from, so I won't guess to badmouth the state that this guy's from, but there's a congressman apparently that has basically said we need to protect the economy and protect our way of life, and if we lose a few bodies along the way, that's the cost of doing business. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. That's not the exact phrasing, but that's the kind of the result And I think that's that's what
it's nauseating.
It's nauseating, right? I mean,
it's horrific. It's not human.
Right.
There's no soul. There's no compassion.
But to me, I think we've kind of I don't know, in chasing the and don't get me wrong, like I think our system of government, our economy, I mean, I think in history it's going to go down as one of the best experiments in humankind. But I think the question is how much is enough, right? And we can put somebody on the moon, but we can't figure out a way to kind of bring up the bottom a little bit and help people so that everybody has a chance at a comfortable life. I don't know. Right. I mean, and I think we have to remember that there are people that we're a community. We live. The world is a giant community, and I think what's frustrating for me now is that there are some people that think that it should be us against the world, and we're part of the world. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's hard to describe. But
when you were reared on the Rocky movies in the '80s when he was fighting Ivan Drago, so it was always that you had that non-communism bent from an early age. We all did watching The Miracle on Ice in 1980. But I think but this just to keep an eye on Russia in the next election. So it's you're right. We all should have that thought process, but it's not possible right now.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is I think it's possible to work hard. It's possible for people to be entrepreneurs, but I think there's also room for us to have compassion for our fellow human beings.
Yes, and that's it's a heavy, heartfelt sentiment.
Yeah,
from one Mike Pacheco.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of time to think.
Yes, you do. We have time to be contemplative. One of your favorite words.
Contemplative, yeah, nice.
And I think I learned that word watching Mr. Woodcock.
You did.
I did.
Interesting.
Yeah. Once again, the streak continues.
It is. We're up to 2 now. Well, now it's actually a streak.
Kind of wedge it in there.
Yeah.
But the streak resumes.
Yeah. And it started with contemplative.
It started with contemplative. Yeah. I don't think Mr. Woodcock would go there, that word, but I did.
No, but you did.
The WWE is an essential sport. An essential activity in the state of Florida. Please discuss.
Well,
that is so hysterical.
Right, but one of the lasting images, I think, when they do the Time Life DVD retrospective of this pandemic, everyone's going to look at that spring break dude that was like, I don't care if I get COVID, I don't care if I get the virus, that state was, one of the last to lock down the beaches. I mean, there was a time where it was county by county, and I forget the counties. I think it was East Coast counties in Florida, but one had social distancing, the other one didn't, and it was like nobody on the beach, and all of a sudden you see the line where the county is, and all of a sudden it was like packed. Just irresponsible.
Those are stunning videos. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was doctored.
Yeah.
When we saw just mass crowds like it was a regular February vacation day.
Right. But it all goes down to mentality, though, John. I mean, and I think most everybody, and this really shouldn't be a political party thing. I mean, I think everybody wants to figure out a way to jumpstart the economy. I mean, I think everybody wants it to be. Look, nobody wants to be. I can't think of anybody that wants to be out of work right now. I can't think of anybody that wants to have zero income coming in now. So stop it, right? That's not an issue. But I think there has to be. Health has to lead the way here, and if we can't. I mean, what good is having money if, this thing comes back around 3 and 4 times? I mean, I think it stinks. I mean, you and I are probably impacted as much as, I shouldn't say as anybody, but, this is impacting both of our professions, right?
Big time, absolutely.
So it's not like we're in some ivory tower talking about this. Yes. I mean, look, we're directly, like I should be getting ready for a game.
This is not us bitching, it's reality.
Yeah.
A lot of the paychecks have dried up.
Yeah.
Which is, unfortunate. It's extremely unfortunate. And I'm, we're both kind of searching for answers like anybody else. But, it always should be about the health. It always should be the number one priority. I don't know if it will be. I just don't trust those in charge right now to say that it will be.
No.
Then we have a story in the Boston area the other day about, the Globe publishing a report that they were defunct of.
Oh, the masks were defective. Yeah,
that came on from China. And that to me was a clear hatchet job because there's a rivalry there between John Henry and Robert Kraft.
Oh.
So I think that's not good reporting. This just in. That's needless.
Well, and that's what fuels.
Why go there?
Right.
At this point.
Right. But see, here's the problem with journalism is, I think most of the time, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, right? So most of the time, I think people want to get the story right. But when you get the story wrong, or if there seems to be an agenda, that just adds fuel to this, like, all media is corrupt, this fake news. And I just, I'm not naive to say that it doesn't exist. I don't think it exists to the scale that some people would lead others to believe. But that's a stain on our business. Like, you can't, like the one thing you have so the responsibility that the media has is to be accurate, get it right. I know some news organizations, it's get it right, get it fast, get it first.
Everybody wants to be first now because of the internet. The internet changed the game.
Right. Well,
social media changed the game.
Well, I think exclusives have almost gone out the window.
Totally.
They still exist, right? But back when when you and I were in college, John, newspapers, television stations, they would trip over each other to get the exclusive story, because once it hit their airwaves, then it would take off. But now, if there's 3 reporters hanging around a locker and somebody says something, it's not exclusive anymore.
And it's a shame too, because we sound old because we are, but I tell my students this all the time. Tell me something I don't know.
Right.
It's harder now. It's much harder because there's so much information out there. First of all, maybe 90% is correct. That's probably too high.
Right.
60% correct.
Yeah.
Either way, there's so much information.
Right.
Whereas when you and I were in college, we didn't know. Throw out anything. For instance, I think back to the Patriots. The big story post Super Bowl, they lost to the Bears. Besides getting blown out, was
Irving Fryer.
Patriots drug story.
Yeah.
Patriots locker room situation. Raymond Claiborne.
Yeah.
Lynn Dawson. Irving Fryer. Yeah. Will McDonald wrote the story. I think with Ron Borges, and that story never would have ever been broken in that area because someone would have had it months ago on Twitter.
Right.
Or
that's where it started. Like, it was like somebody had their cell phone camera and caught somebody doing something.
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody's a reporter now because of our iPhones.
And who gets the scoops now? It's TMZ.
Oh, big time. Big time. Yeah, they just did a Tiger King retrospective. I know you're still holding out on.
Yeah, I'm holding out on you.
I gave you a Netflix recommendation earlier, but I'm adding Tiger King to that list until Mike dives in.
Until I dive in.
One Joe Exotic.
Until I jump in the pool.
Might be problematic. I wouldn't want to dive in there. Anything Joe Exotic is involved with, I would not want to dive in.
I wouldn't want to be a part of that.
No, I just don't want to be a part of it. But, I think, like today, I was just reading on The Athletic. How many moments do you have when you read something? I know it's foreign for people maybe even to read anything, but there was a story about Rob Gronkowski and the whole draft process. And it was a good idea. Jeff Howard does a really good job at The Athletic. He's the Patriots beat reporter. Used to be the Herald. But he gave me information I didn't know.
Right.
And that's a bonus. Hats off to The Athletic. Take a bow, Athletic.
Right.
Take a bow, Jeff Howard.
Yeah.
I know a lot about Gronk, but there was a lot in there I didn't know.
Right.
They go to Brian Ferentz, who was a Patriot coach at the time. They go to all the scouts, DeJuan Daniels, former PC player, who's a scout with the Patriots. Everybody does these levels now where it's, how the stories are. It's like, kind of like what Woodward did with Tom Shales did with the Saturday Night Live book. it's cut up into everybody's thoughts.
Oh, right. And then you string everybody together, so to hear what Lorne Michaels said, like a blurb and then a blurb. Right.
Yes.
Right. But that's kind of been like one of the athletics trademarks.
Yeah.
Doing those, like,
it's a little maybe overkill at times, but I think it works.
Yeah.
It works. But the point is, like, how many times do you read something and say, damn, I didn't know that?
Right.
And to your point, 30 years ago, it was all the time. We had to wait for the 6 and 11 news. And, John, Dino, Dennis, Bob Lobel, and Mike Lynch to tell us what the hell we missed.
Yeah. It's like a written...
Dino didn't tell us anything. I love you, Dino. But...
Nice.
But that's how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Mr. Moxie over there, you could have picked up a Moxie after the NFL once upon a time.
Yeah. Splinter.
I don't think I've ever had a Moxie in my life.
I think I did try it once because we had my buddy Jay and I from high school. He had a girlfriend. We used to hang out with them in York Beach, and I think the dad used to drink Moxie. So I think we caught a hold of some each to try it.
Wait, are you sure that was Moxie, or was that he told you it was Moxie?
It was Moxie. It was definitely Moxie. It didn't. It wasn't. I don't know. I guess the best, maybe like a sour Dr. Pepper would be a good. I don't know.
I think it's very bitter, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the sour. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, movie suggestion. I'm all over.
Yeah. Oh, movie suggestions. Yeah.
The Way Back with Ben Affleck.
Oh, you like that?
I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought it was. I was sufficiently depressed, which is great because I'm not depressed enough.
Right. Yeah. Add one more to the list.
Add one more to the pandemic list. It could have been better developed from a character perspective. Ben Affleck's a alcoholic high school basketball coach. Story's been told many times before.
Right.
Former great player, goes back to his high school and coaches. Right. It's a little scattered.
Yeah.
But it's a good 2-hour investment.
Now, would you compare it to Hoosiers at all, or is it completely different?
That's what I was kind of hoping for. And I know it's, and people would say, oh, that's a knockoff. That's a Hoosiers knockoff. Right. Who cares if it worked? I'd like to see Norman Dale in 2020. That could have been Ben Affleck.
Right.
That's Gene Hackman, Norman Dale, Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
You're the coach. So I give it a B on the meter movie scale.
A B on the meter scale.
A B on the meter scale. Yes.
So we are watching. So this is a series, a Marvel series on Netflix, Iron Fist.
Well, that sounds. Now you're talking here.
Yeah,
Iron Fist.
Yeah, it's kind of like
not Iron Chef.
Yeah, Iron Chef. No, it's so it's the story of Danny Rand. So Danny's father in the Meacham family, they owned this giant, like, multinational corporation, and like when he's like 12, maybe 10 or 12, something like that. The Rand family dies in a plane crash, and Danny survives. And then 15 years later, he comes back, and he's like a kung fu master, like he's a martial artist. There's a kind of a mystical reason why he couldn't return, and he's got this like superpower. And so this essentially like an organized crime syndicate has put its tentacles into this corporation. And so he's trying to weed it out. So it's an interesting...
so this is a Marvel?
Marvel, yeah, it's on Netflix. I think it only went 2 seasons. But his character is also in something on Netflix that we haven't seen yet called The Defenders.
Oh, okay. I've heard about that.
Yeah.
The thing with those Marvel characters on Netflix and those shows, it can go really either way.
Right.
They go off the board with... some suggested scenes, not that I'm complaining. Jessica Jones is one, who is a unique superhero.
Yeah.
And then they have others that are more kid-friendly.
Right.
There's kind of no in-between there. But
well, it's kind of like Deadpool, right? Like, Deadpool doesn't really fit into the universe. It's funny.
Ryan Reynolds does a
great job.
Let his kids watch Deadpool the other night.
You did? Mistake. Yeah. We still haven't let our son watch that. I've broken down on Family Guy.
No, Family Guy, you can hide behind the guys. It's a cartoon.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love Family Guy, and I know one of your friends is a writer on the show, right?
Yes, another potential guest for us.
Yeah,
good tease.
Yeah,
Alex Sulkin.
Yeah, that'd be.
He's doing. If you haven't followed Alex Sulkin on Instagram, you need to, because he does hilarious Cuomo impersonations.
Really? Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
They're like 12 seconds, but they're hilarious.
Yeah.
He'll just do like random Governor Cuomo impersonations.
Yeah.
But Family Guy's, I think, okay. It's not like South Park.
See, I liked Family Guy better than South Park.
No, I think from a off the board, like, you don't want your son to watch.
Oh, from a child.
I love Family Guy.
Yeah.
I think
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? From
yeah.
Clean language standpoint, but it's funny. Hey,
so this
14. What the hell?
So this is marketing, right? Marketing 101. Remember, was it 6-7 months ago, maybe close to a year ago, when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they started promoting that movie?
It was 2 years ago.
And was it that long ago? Jesus, I didn't think it was that long ago. But for the longest time, my son was like, "Dad, I want to watch this. And I'm like, no. And then I watched it when it first came out, like when you could rent it.
Yeah.
And I watched it without him or my wife, and I was like, "Guys, no chance." No chance. He's watching this. No.
But the ending was brutal. It was so stupid. It was Tarantino on steroids. I liked a lot of the movie, but I thought the ending was.
I loved 80%, maybe 85 to 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
I would say it had a little bit of The Irishman in the fact I felt like it went a little bit too long. And the ending just, I agree with you. It's hard to, how do you, criticize someone like Quentin Tarantino with everything that he's done that's, and a lot of it's been fabulous. But, yeah, I think there's something, in the same things in songs, right? Like, there's certain things to a song, if you're covering it, you still got to do it. You can't completely change it. Right. And I think with that story, it was kind of, I guess, feel good to an extent. That, but on the other hand, you just know that it wasn't. I mean, I know it's fiction, right? But it's just.
Well, you mean that really didn't happen?
The ending, the very end. Yeah.
The ending did not happen. What are you?
I know. Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! That did not happen.
Spoiler alert! If you have not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
you shattered my world.
I will say this: I thought Brad Pitt was fantastic.
I thought Pitt was really good.
I mean, Leo was good, but I thought, and Brad got he got the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, I thought Pitt was excellent.
I thought he was great.
Margot Robbie didn't play much of a role; she just looked like Margot Robbie, which is fine with me.
Right.
But I tell you what, speaking of Margot Robbie, a movie I have to watch again. It's one of those movies you see it, you can't stop watching. Did you ever see The Wolf of Wall Street?
No, I got to put that on the list too. I'm going to write that down.
Oh my God, well, you're 7 years behind now.
I know.
We got to get you up to like 2016.
Yeah, but what's funny? Like, especially if something comes out during baseball season, it's hard for me to see.
Yeah, true.
And,
true.
And the other thing, what's funny? This is
you only have like 9 to 4 before the game, but
I know.
Yeah,
I like to work out. And,
I'm giving you shit. Come on.
So by the way, one thing about Life Without Sports is we try to kind of do it like it's a professional broadcast, but really this is kind of like what our phone calls are like.
Well, that was the concept.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, right?
How do you think Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld struck gold?
That's right. But I totally lost my point. This is great.
See, this is part of our phone call.
This is great television. Yes, this is totally.
Mike loses his train of thought. And I say, hey, you remember when Mike Kellogg rented that big unit?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Start telling those stories.
We could go way back.
Oh no, but yeah, TV. So viewing habits. So it's just so if anything happens during the season, it's kind of tough to see. And I don't know if you've had this experience, but it's like before we had our son, there was a pretty good chance that Sam and I would see maybe most or a good number of like the Oscar Best Picture nominees. In the last 3 or 4 years, it's like, watching the Oscars, and it's like, nope, didn't see that one. Yep, didn't see that one. Nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
now I know they've added more of the category.
I have a son who is an absolute movieaholic, which I love.
Yeah, that's great.
When I was with sports, it's been me to Perot movies.
Oh, that's great.
And he went online last night trying to find the way back, and he found an AMC on demand. American, the theaters are going under this just in.
Yeah.
And AMC, which you have in Charlotte,
right?
I think they're about to file for bankruptcy protection. But what they're doing now is going. They have to go on demand because obviously all of them are closed. So we found it. I think we watch on our iPad. It cost me $6.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think DirecTV, because DirecTV sometimes does like close to first run, like not the first run movies that are out, but like as soon as they go out of theaters. I think DirecTV had it. I'll have to check that out.
DirecTV has all of it, or not all of it. I think there's a lot of bandit websites that you can watch. Not that we're condoning that.
No, my favorite. I think I may have told you this story, but this goes back to like 2008, 2009. I went on a road trip with the Knights. We went to Norfolk, and Norfolk is you get up the morning of the game, you get on the bus at like 7 in the morning, you bus to Norfolk, you get off the bus, check in the hotel, maybe grab a bite to eat, go to the ballpark, game on, right? So we're literally like, one of your favorite spots, like 20 miles east of Raleigh-Durham on I-85, and one of the players gets up, and we're still like another 2.5 hours to Norfolk. So one of the pitchers gets up and has, it was like one of the Batman movies, and I'm like, it might have been Batman Return, I forget the movie, but I'm like, that's in theaters now, like, and sometimes with players, they got agents, they know, that's like, all right, maybe it's like a friend of somebody that, they got the DVD. So I'm watching, and it's a little dark, and you're on the bus, and the sound's not great, but you're on a bus, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's like it flashes to this scene where it's like a really light backdrop, and all of a sudden you see a silhouette of somebody getting up and then walking down the aisle. It was a bootleg.
Here's how we recorded this movie.
Yeah.
And piracy is a crime.
Somebody was holding up a camera.
You go to jail for a long time for that, sir, if you get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it doesn't surprise me.
No. But now everything is like cloud-based, and like I told you, I got to see most of the first season of Brockmire because somebody had alerted me to that. So
you mean the Jim Selania story?
Yeah, Jim Selania. For people in Charlotte, that's pretty good.
That's inside baseball.
That's inside baseball. Charlotte people might get that reference.
They might get that reference. DJ Stout, we know you're watching.
DJ.
You'll guffaw at that, Mark.
DJ
Yarbrough.
the Suit Stout. Yeah.
Yes. Mark Yarbrough as well.
Yeah, Yarbrough's one of our biggest. I don't know if he actually watches, but he retweets everything.
He retweets it. God love you.
God love you. Thank you, Yarbrough.
Thank you, Yarbrough. Yes. We're still going to get Shea Griffin.
Yeah,
you know what we should do? We should have a WFNZ reunion show.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. We could do that on. That might have to be a Zoom production.
We could do that on Zoom with Sandy Penner, Steve Zabin, Mark Packer, Dave Jagler, yours truly, Julie Taché, Shea Griffin, Mark Yarbrough.
Yeah. You gotta get Mike Kellogg on there too.
Mike Pacheco.
Yeah.
Who am I leaving out? The Glory Years.
The Glory Years. Yeah. I think that's it. Maybe Barry Roach.
Barry Roach.
Steve All.
Who?
Steve All.
Steve All.
You remember Steve All?
Steve All's a blockbuster sales.
Yeah. Jake Early has passed. We lost him a couple years ago.
Oh, he did? Yeah. I did not know that. Yeah. I did not know that. Jake was a true
legendary
character.
Yeah, legendary sales guy for FNZ. Was in the radio business in Charlotte a long time. I think he was a restaurateur at one point too. Tried to get into the restaurant.
His favorite line was, "What's up, Lucky?"
Hey, Sparky. What's up, Lucky?
Yeah, like old. He would have been in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
one of those characters.
But he was larger than life too. Like he was big. Very jovial.
Yeah, and we also lost Eddie Grist too. Who was speaking of characters.
Characters, yeah.
That guy was straight out of Central Casting.
Yes. He might have been in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood too.
From Cabarrus County.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to sit with me at Town and Country Ford.
Yeah.
On a Saturday or Sunday when I was doing remotes, calling to the station. We actually had to call the station.
Yes.
And Johnny Perrell, Town and Country Ford, come down and see me on Independence Boulevard. We'll be giving out koozies until 3.
They got deals on the F-150s. Come in right now. Zero down, 0% financing.
See dealer for details.
Void or prohibited, no purchase necessary.
No purchase necessary. So that's what I pretty much did for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So Eddie was there. We talked shop. You know, it was good to get Eddie Griss insight on many different topics. But that's where I met Bob Zupsick.
That's right. Bob Zupsick was the sales guy there, right?
Former Red Sox time Red Sox center fielder.
Yeah.
I say that with a grain of salt, but he was a good player. He was untapped potential. He probably would tell you.
Yeah.
One of those guys who was 6'4", but didn't have any power. It was weird.
Yeah, it is strange. Be that tall and not have right.
Yeah, but it was. That's the thing about Charlotte, man. I always came across somebody. There was always some connection.
Well, and it's really has really blossomed as a place to come, and it's a great place to raise a family. Now it's getting more expensive to live here, but still, when you compare it to some of the expensive places around the world, around the United States, it's still a good bargain. I mean, you know that.
Big time.
It's still a great bargain compared to like Boston or San Francisco, New York. But because you have the banks here, Bank of America is headquartered here. You have Wells Fargo has a major presence. Truist Bank, which is a merge between BB&T Bank and SunTrust, that's going to be headquartered here. So that's a big, it's become obviously a big financial week banking center, and so it's a melting pot. Legitimately, I know more people that are not from here than people that were born and raised here. And that was true even when you were here, and that was 20-something years ago.
Late 90s. 85% of upstate and central New York moved to Charlotte.
Yeah, you got a lot of Buffalo, Rust Belt,
Syracuse, Rochester, Utica,
Ohio, a lot of
Ohio, a lot of Michigan.
In fact, if you want to meet a lot of
snow belt states,
if you want to meet a lot of Ohioans, go to Hilton Head in the summertime.
Oh, is that
it's like half of Ohio just like migrates to Hilton Head. If you got to come down to Hilton Head.
You can dot the I in Hilton Head.
Yeah, dot the I. I know that's a good line. Hilton Head's awesome. I love Hilton Head. We go there almost every year.
No, I'd say expect nothing less with a man of your means. To go to Hilton Head.
Yeah, well, maybe not this summer. This summer might be a pass.
I was to say, you're lucky if you go to the South Park Mall this summer.
Yeah.
In your neighborhood.
Jeez, yeah.
I know Hilton Head is great. It's I haven't been there that many times, but I always love going there. It's a great vacation spot. And that's good. Another good thing about Charlotte is you're close to a lot of things.
Right.
That are drivable.
Right.
From vacation
destinations. I mean, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Pawleys Island. You got Kiowa, Savannah, Hilton Head. Like it's. You got.
Are we getting royalties for this? By the way,
we should be. We need like the Myrtle Beach Visitors and Tourism Board to
I was going to say tourism. We're looking for sponsors. We got Merrimack College and ESPN.
That's right. Yeah, got the Warriors here.
Yeah, trust me, folks. ESPN.
ESPN. Trust me.
Right across the heart. It's a golf shirt. But Mike, we have once again, I like those sports. We've left no stone unturned.
We've left a lot of stones. We've flipped over a lot of stones today. Good stuff.
We always do, which is always special.
Yeah.
And the good news is you get our mess tomorrow as well. So
right.
Come back for more.
Throwback Thursday tomorrow. I might flash up a few Throwback Thursdays for you.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. I think I'll throw back the one I showed you before, which some of you may have missed.
Yeah, we'll do that, because I think that was the Instagram Live, where what you showed us was actually, because of how Instagram does things, what you're going to show us was in reverse.
Correct.
But this camera, the way we have this set up, it's more like normal. So
it's more friendly.
It's more friendly, yeah. So I have a few. It's not so much. It's not in the same vein necessarily as what you're going to have, but it might have a story to tell behind.
All right, good tease.
Not a great story, but I'm
Radio tease veteran Mike Pacheco.
And coming up Friday, for those of you that are following this far along, we'll probably tease this tomorrow at the beginning. But we talked about what ifs, and so if you have a what if, it doesn't have to be Boston sports; it can be any. But like, what if something happened in sports, right? So what if this will be a negative what if? But what if Mike Eruzione doesn't hit that goal? So that's the concept kind of behind that. Or better yet, what if Buckner had fielded the ground ball? But my buddy Gary Wing, I don't know if we talked about this, John. He mentioned Game 5 of the Stanley Cup last year with St. Louis with the Blues. In Game 5, when that they had that no call on which should have been a tripping call. I think that was in the third period, right? And the Bruins would have gone up a goal, but instead no call, and then St. Louis immediately kind of has like an open net situation. They find the weak side of the goalie and pop it in there.
Yeah, there's a plethora of what ifs. We steal this from Dan Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
And any number of columnists who have written this too.
Yeah.
Well done, Dan. But we encourage your input on Twitter at MeetTweets and at Mike Pacheco81.
Yep.
If you have any what ifs you'd like to share. What if we never started life without sports? Imagine your life as you know it right now in this pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd still be bored senseless.
You'd still be bored senseless.
But Mike, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Meet, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Stay healthy, everyone.
Stay healthy. All right.